Shalom, YouTube family. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the family.
In today's video, we will be reacting to Trevor Noah talking about the difference between South African racism and American racism.
This should be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it.
Do you have any questions or anything before we move on? Anything you want to chat about? Anything on your mind? It's a fun part of a live show. Yes?
What's the difference between racism in South Africa and racism in America?
Oh, I love that. I love how you asked such a deep question in such a bubbly way. Because your tone of voice was really fun. So what's the difference between... Because today I thought you were going to say like, oh, the difference between like summer and spring for you. You're like, what's the difference between racism in South Africa and racism in the USA? That was like my favorite.
I just want to say this before we get into it. I like Trevor Noah a lot.
I do too. He's funny.
He's not just a comedian, a punchline comedian. He talk about real world things.
Right.
And it's very brilliant.
That's what the best comedians do. If you're not talking about real life, you're not funny.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, he up there. He's one of the
Right.
top comedians right now. I like Trevor Noah. Let's see.
Topic. I will tell you what, I think the biggest difference between racism in America and racism in South Africa is I find that South African racism is and was a lot more blatant. And so there's more of an acknowledgement of it as an idea. And I always say to people, I know it's strange to say this, but I often think that was the greatest gift the apartheid government gave us, is that it was like, it was there. It was.
So one thing I want to mention what he said was and is more blatant. I would say during slavery, I don't know
Obviously,
exactly
it was blatant in slavery.
Right, it's very blatant. So
Right.
that right there, this can't get no more blatant than that. But as far as
I mean, even like civil rights movement, it was obvious. It was blatant.
Right.
It is now still with some people, but not.
Yeah, but
not usually.
yeah, let's listen a little more what he's saying.
Yeah.
Happening to you. It wasn't hidden. Do you know what I mean? So you were just like, we don't want this. People would fight, stop this apartheid, it's racism. And then the government would be like, yes, of course it is racism. That's what we're doing to you. The blacks must not do this. But then what happened in America is, you know, you hit that period where like they started changing things. I don't know if it was around Nixon, and they were like, oh, we've got to be silent about this. And then it wasn't blatant anymore. And so I always thought that's a terrible thing to do to people, because now.
So yeah, he did clear that up. He cleared it up because it was like, obviously we talk about the slavery thing, how blatant it was. But yeah, like the crazy, because we can't really speak on a South Africa 100% as far as racism is concerned, for the simple fact that we didn't really deal with much of it while we were there.
Much of it, any of it. We didn't.
Any of it, honestly.
Yeah.
But we know through the apartheid and how that,
Right.
you know, transformed South Africa.
Which we've said in multiple videos is very similar to the same stuff that was happening in America. So,
but right now, I would prefer to more blatant racism, because now it's like you know what you're dealing with.
America, but that's like fake people. Like you having fake friends, it's smiling in your face when you really hate me though. Like that's In
America, they just everything's on a slick. It went from blatant racism to systemic to, you know what I mean?
I think because it's about things being politically correct. And when you have more people that are against something, you can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that thing," because then you look like a jerk. So I'm interrupted, man. Let's see what you think.
People have to be like detectives of their own racism. They have to figure it out. You know what I mean? So let me give you an example. In South Africa, the government would just say, blacks cannot live in these areas. You're black, you don't live here. Now you know I'm black, I don't live here. I don't like it, but I don't live here. You get what I'm saying? But then in America, you'd be like, can I get a home loan? And they'd be like, no.
Preach.
And you'd be like, why? And they'd be like,
right.
They'd be like, why can't I? And then you just start realizing, you're like, wow, how come the black people all seem to only be able to get houses in these areas, but not in these areas? And these school districts are better. How come the money is going here? How come? And you get what I'm saying? And I know it sounds strange to say, but I think there's something liberating about fighting an obvious enemy as opposed to one that you have to prove exists. That's probably the biggest difference between America and
That is so true. Like I was just thinking, because I had watched this video not that long ago, and it was like a black couple trying to sell their house or something, and so they had to get like an estimate of what the house was worth or whatever, and they told them way low, and they were like, no, there's no way, this is a really nice house, it can't be. So they had their white friend come over, and they put pictures of this white lady's family all over the house and had them do it again. And it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars more that they were saying the house was worth.
Right.
So that is like the shadiness that they pull.
Yeah, it's not blatant, right? And the thing is, like, I have many stories, dealing with racism and not being blatant and feeling some type of way about it. But one of the things he spoke on was like the housing thing. And then when you look at redlining was something that was done in America where it segregated, blacks from whites and put all of the white people was basically in this nice area where it was funded and all the taxes was going there, and they kept black people like in the hood areas and stuff like that, and didn't allow them to get loans, to move in those nice areas. So they didn't blatantly say, "Oh, you can't be here," but they made, with the bankers and stuff like that, they made that the case.
Yeah, they make it hard. They put it into the infrastructure. It's in the laws.
Systemic. Yeah.
And it's like a secret. We're gonna keep you over here by doing this, but you're not gonna know this. And it's one of those things where, like what I said before about the couple in the house and everything. It's like, you don't want to be that black person that's like, oh my gosh, that's racist. Oh my God, that's racist. Because everything's not racist. Every single thing in the world is not racist. But sometimes people are like, they be racist. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to be the one that's like, everything is. But you don't want to miss it either. Be like, oh, like.
At least if it's blatant, you can, especially with like people that so-called are your friends, and then behind closed doors, they talking behind your back and they're really like low-key racist. At least if they're blatant racist, you can be like, okay, I won't deal with you or whatever. But then you trust this person, and then they end up stabbing you in the back, and it's like even worse now. So I understand what Trevor Noah was saying, when it's like, it's kind of liberating because it is. Now you know what you're dealing with. You can fight it. You can have the proper conversations.
It's more shady when it's undercover. Like, that's why back in the day, the Klan used to wear a whole mask.
Yeah.
They gonna cover their whole face, they cover their whole body, so you can't tell who it is. You can be walking next to them and you would have no idea.
Yeah, you can make the excuse and say, "Oh no, it's not racist," and then things will never change, But now, it's a little bit more blatant, I would say, after Trump got into office, with and more people coming out and being like, all right. So, with that being said, this is a conversation we can really talk about forever, right?
But there's more in the video, so let's see.
Yeah, let's see what else he's saying, and then we'll end it there.
And can I just say, what is your name?
Katrina.
Katrina, you should be a debate moderator in this country. Because the way you snuck that question in was so chilled. You would throw politicians off what are you?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher. Aha! See. That was, no, politicians wouldn't see you coming, You just be like, so let's talk about all of the campaign finance fraud and how you stole that money.
That was a good video. I think he made a good point. Like, literally exactly my thoughts. I agree.
Yeah. All right, family, we just hope you enjoyed this reaction as much as we enjoyed reacting to it. I just want to say thank you for watching this all the way through, and we love you, family. And as always, shalom.
Shalom.